Here we are again, riding a motorcycle. It's raining as usual. Overtaking on your motorcycle. What a better place to do it than on the motorway. A lot of motorcyclists find overtaking a little bit difficult, so I'm going to show you how it's done. We'll take things a bit slowly. We'll hang in a left for a sec. Right, so we're in a left. We're keeping up with traffic. There's someone right near us, but we'll be able to overtake them. You don't want to overtake too close, so the gap's starting to pull. We'll stop a bit, slow down, let this guy pass, and then we'll signal. Look, move in. There we are. We're ready to overtake. So we're probably ready to overtake this guy here as well. So we'll. He's pulling back in, so we'll start adjusting our speed to match the traffic. I saw a few comments saying that I was over speeding on the motorway. Just so you guys know, most speedometers are rated 10% lower, 5 to 10% lower than the actual speed. So this right here at 73, 74, as you can probably tell, is around 70 miles an hour. Oh, he's pulling in. Yeah, see, this is why you always look, always keep an eye on what everyone's doing. This is actually around 66, 68, right? 74 is about 70 miles an hour. 75 is about 71 miles an hour. So I try to keep it around here to keep us legal, alright? So let's just, that's out of the way, let's focus on the task at hand, and that's overtaking. So we're currently moving at quite a fast pace. Where, as you can see, we'll be overtaking this gentleman here easily enough. They're slowing down, he's about to move into there, so looks like we're not overtaking, looks like we're just hogging out the lane in a minute. So we'll get into the third lane for an overtake, right? Position ourselves, maneuver, signal, boom, there we go. We're looking like we're getting to my my junction, so we'll move back in. Our junction's coming up now, so we will slot ourselves in. Overtaking's a little bit of an art. We could do some overtaking now, but we're about to get into our junction, so we don't want to mess around with that. Overtaking's all about working out distances between, stopping distances between the guy in front of you and the guy behind you. You do not want to overtake someone and then be squeezed in, where you have to get into your spot and then all of a sudden you're causing a hazard or an accident. So we'll signal on, we'll go into here, we'll do some overtaking on the dual carriageway. A little bit easier because we'll be doing that a bit more. And when you're overtaking on motorways and stuff like that, it's probably best to work out at what speed you're going and if that's matching anyone else's. Now if you're in the second lane or in the first lane, oh, there we go, saw him in my mirrors. The police, so you should always look at your mirrors. Right, so we're going to do some overtaking now. Right, we'll open up speed. So a dual carriageway is the best to sort of figure out how to overtake, because you've got vehicles that hang out in the left lane. Those guys are generally moving a bit slower. As long as you're keeping to the speed limit, which we are, we've already covered that, how our speed is slightly above on the speedo, but you know, that means the people beside us are doing, you know, 68, 69 miles an hour. Nothing wrong with that. If that's what you want to do when it's slightly spitting down the rain, that's what you want to do when it's slightly spitting down the rain. Now, misconception is that motorcycles tend to be, you know, you should slow down when it's raining, or you know, like they're less able. That's not, if your tires are good tires and they're not worn and you've got certain, you know, like traction control and all that sort of ABS, there's no reason why you can't go the national speed limit when it's raining. Now obviously it's monsooning, it's a little bit different, you know. You've got to see what's what. Wind is actually more difficult when it's, you know, than rain. Wind would knock you about, but you know, there's no different. Your skill as a motorcyclist is not going to be affected negatively by the rain, as long as you're not going through huge standing water, you should be alright. Now look, here we go, we got a hill coming up. This guy in front of us, you can see there's a bit of a slow conga line, so we start to position ourselves ready for the overtake. Get into position 3, hit our signal, check, and let's go for it. So we open up the throttle slightly to make sure that we're gaining speed. You don't want to be losing speed whilst you're overtaking, because people tend to start to speed up when they're being overtook for some reason, I don't know why. And then look, there you go. Right, we've overtaken them. We're going to slow down now. We're going to signal. We're going to look. I'm going to go straight into here. We're in the first lane now. We'll repeat the process. Repeat the process. Obviously, left is best. So, you know, the highway code states that you should remain in the left unless you're overtaking. So we're going to do that for the... It's harder to do on a motorway because you've got such slow moving traffic that most people end up in the middle or the third lane. Right, those guys slam their brakes on, so look, we're positioning ourselves, ready, we're looking, accelerating slightly. What is going on here? Be brake checking him. So we're overtake, we're doing a double overtake here, so we're sticking to the speed limit. So it's about 68 miles an hour. At 72, 73 is about 70. So like, we won't overspeed. Right, and there we go. So we're overtaking this person. We've maintained speed. It's good to look at the person as well, so you know they're being overtaken. Look, signal, position, move back in. Jobs are good in. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. You know, and that's all that there is to overtaking. It's a lot of eye contact, a lot of working out what the vehicle is going to do in front of you. We're getting up to another one now, but we're getting close to my turn off, so tend to not do many overtakes around this area, so we might slow down. Depends how fast the traffic's moving there. Right, so position yourself. Ready? Yeah, ready. Signal, let's go. Open it up. You're doing 70 miles an hour, so you're matching that person's speed. I reckon we might have overshot this person's speeding up, so we're going to slow down because we've realised that person isn't moving and we don't want to break the law, obviously. Turn back in, boom. Right, there you go, you're back in position 2, ready to go. Our turn off is here, so we're going to move back into position 3, hit our signal, position 1, sorry, hit our signal, slow down slightly. There is our turn off. Boom, we're on the turn off now. We can cancel our indicators. Let's cancel them before we get out there. Hit the brake slightly, downshift, engine brake, downshift, slow, 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 combined braking. Let's go. Indicator again. Alright, we're going to go down here now. So we go straight on. So obviously there's no overtaking now. I mean, you could technically, you know, to go straight on, we're going to have to be in the left. Downshift. Clutch control. Come to a stop. Visor up, because I'm fogging up. Overtaking is just about reading your fellow drivers' next moves. And kind of understanding what they're getting up to. Oh, I should have gone down there. Oh, I've come off the wrong junction. Anyway, so yeah, that's overtaking. Overtaking's just literally all about figuring out your distances, figuring out where you're slotting in and where you're slotting out, figuring out the lay of the land, figuring out whether it's wise to do your overtake. Now obviously that was an overtake on like roads that allow it quite easily. These roads, people do overtake on these roads. Obviously the rules are quite simple. Anything with solid white lines or double whites, you cannot overtake on, so you cannot go on this side of the road. A lot of people dip into this side of the road to overtake, boom, and then dip back out. That's fine on a road like this, but we're not doing that. There's no reason to. It's obviously a hazard as well. So we're just making our way around the roundabout. Signal. There you go. I've come off the wrong bloody exit. I got distracted. Alright, so we're not really going to do any much more overtaking now, I wouldn't say. The roads don't allow it, and I'm not going to force an overtake just for fun. Let me know what you guys think. What's your pet peeves about overtaking? What don't you enjoy about overtaking? What seems daunting? I'd say it's the committing to it that's quite difficult for a lot of people. They find it quite nerve-wracking to commit to an overtake. You just need to be wary of where you're overtaking. A lot of bikers will overtake in weird areas. You shouldn't overtake on blind corners. You shouldn't overtake in anywhere where you could pose a risk or a hazard, or you could get hurt. So, you know, just bear that in mind when you're overtaking. You know, and that is today's informative video on motorcycling. Let me know what you guys think. Hit me up in the chat. Let me know what you guys think. Tell me if you disagree. Until the next time, I've been the Hungry Hornet. You've been incredible.